Good morning all. Today is 4th of July 2024 and I welcome you all in today's video analysis of the Hindu. So today is 4th of July. The historic importance of this specific date is very great. Now let's focus on the first what event had happened on 4th of July 2024. So yeah, 4th July 2024. Two important events on this day. One is related to history, that is the Independence Day of the Independence Day of USA, and second, elections in United United Kingdom. So these are the two events which are related to 4th of July 2024, the Independence Day of USA. So USA will celebrate Independence Day on 4th of July, and elections are going to take place in United Kingdom, where Rishi Sunak is contesting again on representing Labour's party. Now moving on to the first important news item for the day, and the first important news item for the day is that we must rise above politics for peace in Manipur. So this is the first statement or the detailed statement given by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Uh, After greatly after a year when the events started taking place in Manipur. So violence broke out a year ago in the state of Manipur. There was no complete or full-fledged statement by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the same. But during the current session, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has clearly stated that we must rise above the politics for peace in Manipur. About 11,000 FIRs have been filed. 500 people have been arrested so far. Now, this is one important event because this is for the first time the whole nation was demanding this kind of statement from Mr. Narendra Modi, who is the Prime Minister of this country. But he was failing again and again, and he was consistently avoiding giving all these statements. But after a year or so, he has given first such important statement. Now second news is all coming from Jharkhand. So recently Hemant Soren, who is the former chief minister of Jharkhand, got bail from the jail. So he is going to be returned as the Jharkhand chief minister again. Champai Soren, who was acting, who was the chief minister, who was the interim chief minister when Hemant Soren was not there. He has resigned as a chief minister of Jharkhand, and Hemant Soren has taken place of Champai Soren. Now moving on to the next important news headlines for the day. Now, one thing I want to make it clear, one thing that I want to make clear, that in today's newspaper there are few things which are important for the examination. So today's newspaper might not take that much of time, but we have to understand that if it is not taking too much of time, that it doesn't mean that it is not important. Newspaper is very important if you are preparing for competitive exams like CLAT, ALIT, and sometimes CUET as well. The importance of newspaper is in there in the CUET exam as well. So we have to focus on these news items very specifically, very particularly, because the newspaper have 18 to 20 pages, and it is not possible to cover each and every news item holistically. So we will cover those news items which are related to our examination. Now, this next news headline: spike in pollution levels may raise death rates in cities with cleaner air, says studies. Now, a spike in the air pollution in Indian cities that have cleaner air may raise death rates higher than in cities that have higher pollution loads. Thus, it's same. Thus, the same increase in air pollution in Bangalore can raise death rates more than in Delhi, which has much higher background levels of air pollution. So this is quite a strange fact that there is a study which is clearly indicating that the spike in pollution levels may raise death rates in cities with cleaner air. So the impact of air pollution will be faced more by those cities with cleaner air, because the cities with the cleaner air have is going to have high mortality rate basically. So what this particular point is trying to say that जिस शहर में जिस cities with cleaner air will see more deaths than cities with higher pollution. So this is kind of irony, This is kind of irony that the cities which are, cities that are producing pollution in a much larger scale, they will face a lesser number of deaths than as compared to the cities with the cleaner air. Now, overall, however, cities that had high pollution loads saw a greater fraction of annual deaths attributed towards air pollution, with 11.5% of Delhi's annual death attributable to air pollution and 4.8% in Bangalore. So this is one comparison which author is trying to make here, that all the deaths which took place in Delhi, 11.5% of deaths are related to air pollution. 11.5% deaths in Delhi are related to air pollution, and 4.8% in deaths in Bangalore are related to air pollution. The article is trying to say that the cities with the lesser air pollution will face more graver consequences than the cities with the more air pollution. Cities like Delhi's air pollution is very high. Bangalore's air pollution is low as compared to Delhi, but Bangalore has to face more problems than Delhi. What this article is trying to say is that जिनके जो शहर ज़्यादा साफ है, उनको इन चीज़ों के कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस ज़्यादा देखने पड़ेंगे एज कम्पेयर टू जिन शहर में पोल्यूशन ज़्यादा है. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज़ आइटम फॉर द डे. नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज़ आइटम फॉर द डे. New Madhya Pradesh government present its first budget amid opposition protest. Mohanlal Yadav led BJP government. So basically, this year, this year, Bharatiya Janata Party has appointed Mohanlal Yadav as the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. So basically, he is going to present his first, because his ministry is going to present the annual budget of Madhya Pradesh government. So Deputy CM and Finance Minister Jagdish Devla, Deputy Chief Minister and Finance Minister Jagdish Devla is going to present the new budget of Madhya Pradesh government. Now, the next news item is related to jailed radical Amritpal Singh may take oath as MP on July 5th. So basically, jailed radical Sikh preacher Amritpal Singh, who has recently won the Khadur Sahib parliamentary seat in Punjab, is likely to take oath as Lok Sabha member on Friday. The chief of the Waris Punjab Day outfit, who is currently lodged in Assam's Dibrugarh jail along with 9 associates under the NSA, has been granted a 4-day parole to enable him to take the oath. So basically, Amritpal Singh won the Khadur Sahib parliamentary constituency seat in Punjab, but he was unable to take oath because he was lodged in the jail in the Dibrugarh. He was charged, or he was prosecuted under the National Securities Act, or NSA. Now, there are speculations that he is going to take oath as the member of parliament on Friday. That is 5th of July. So he is released on he is released on parole for 4 days. His parole is he is coming to Delhi. He will take oath as the member of parliament. Then again he will return back to Dibrugarh. So this is one news item which is important, because he was not able to take the oath as the member of parliament because he was lodged in the jail. He was the second such person who is not able to take oath this time because of their presence in the jail. Now moving on. 26th North Andhra group seeks inclusion in Telangana BC list. Now this news is important. Representatives of various communities on Wednesday urged Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu to discuss the issue of 26 communities of North Andhra region that did not get backward classes status in Telangana with his Telangana counterparts. Now, this is one important news item coming all the way from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, that the representatives of various communities on Wednesday urged Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu to discuss the issue of 26 communities of North Andhra region that did not get backward class status in Telangana with his Telangana counterpart. So basically, there are 26 communities in North Andhra region that did not get the backward class status in Telangana, whereas their counterparts in Telangana has got so. Now, the two leaders are scheduled to hold a meeting on July 6 in Hyderabad to discuss various subjects and issues pending between the two states. So after the bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana in 2014, now the 10-year period has lapsed. The 10-year period have been completed now. there is a problem with the 26 communities of North Andhra region. And what is that community? That they are not getting the benefits, or they are not included in the backward classes status in Telangana. So basically this is one problem, and the solution for this particular problem is that the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh and Chief Minister of Telangana, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh is N Chandrababu Naidu, and Chief Minister of Telangana is Revant Reddy. They both are going to hold a joint meeting on July 6th to discuss various issues which are related to these two states, because there are going to be various issues, because these two states were were divided, and after that division the 10-year period has completed. So there is a lot of things that are a lot of unsettled issues which are going to be settled after this particular meeting. So we have to wait for the results of this particular meeting. Till then we have to move to the next important news headline for the day. Now, amphibious vessel project remains non-starter. So this was one, this was a dream project started by the Kerala, but this project has actually not been started. It was announced by the Kerala government. It was the aspirational project of Kerala. This particular project was started with the sole focus on the tourism sector. Now, Kerala's effort to tap the post-pandemic tourism potential by introducing amphibious vessels in the state, among other projects, seems to have run into rough water despite the state budget presented in 2021 embarking rupees 5 crore for it. The maiden budget presented by the second left Democratic Front, Pinarayi Vijayan, Pinarayi Vijayan, and now announced the first tranche of rupees 5 crore for launching the ambitious amphibious vehicles that move both on land and water in Kollam, Kochi and Thalassery. So basically this was one aspirational project which was announced by the Kerala in 2021. The Kerala government has also released a budget of rupees 5 crore for it. First tranche, it was basically first installment of rupees 5 crore. But this particular project has not been yet started yet. Now, three cities that were selected for this particular project were Kollam, Kochi, and Thalassery. Now, but that's it. This is only important thing because this particular project is not started. So the importance of that project will be great. But once it gets started, now the tranche of rupees 5 crore, or the installment of rupees 5 crore, was released by the Kerala government in 2021 because there was a because the provision in the budget for this particular scheme or this particular project was rupees rupees 5 crore. But after 4 years the project is not actually started. Now moving on to the next important news item for the day. So there was this stampede in Hathras where more than 122 people has lost their life. Till date, the event was organized by a person or a self-proclaimed godman, Baba Bhole, and he was organizing this event. The permission was for 80,000 people. The gathering was of about 250,000 people. So the numbers were quite large, and initial indications were like that the bodyguards of Bhole Baba were the main reason behind this stampede in which 122 people have lost their life. Till date, most of the victims are women and children. Most of the victims are women and children, and this is one tragic incident. These kind of incident remind us again and again that who is more important, God or Godman? We all know that God is more important than Godman, but again, we have to understand that these kinds of things are going to affect us in a larger. So we have to restrict ourselves, that the importance being that which is being given to the self-proclaimed Godman, and this is quite tragic. This is quite sad, and all the people mostly who died are from mainly from the middle class. So this is also important. And the another important thing that you can understand the veracity or the gravity of this particular incident, that even the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and prime minister of Japan, Fumio Kishida, they have expressed their condolences. This is that this is this is very tragic. That's why presidents of and the prime minister of president of Russia and prime minister of Japan has expressed their condolences. Now, a deep and a detailed investigation will be done. That is for sure. But again, what why these kinds of events are happening at first stage? Because 122 people are not small number. 122 people, are a great number. So it's a big number. So 122 people have lost their lives in this particular tragic incident, and this is the data which this data will expected to increase in the coming future. Now, Rajinder Khanna is additional national security advisor. So basically, Rajinder Khanna has been appointed. The National Security Council Secretariat has seen a series of changes in the past couple of days, while also maintaining continuity. Praveen Kumar, Secretary West in the External Affairs Ministry, has been appointed Deputy National Security Advisor. Pawan Kapoor, Secretary in the External Affairs Ministry, has been appointed as Deputy National Security Advisor, and Rajinder Khanna has been appointed as Additional National Security Advisor. Now, another important news item that is very important for us to understand, that the center has extended the Smart Cities mission under the Union Urban Development Ministry till March 31, 2025. So basically, the Smart Cities mission, which was started by which was a flagship program of Union Urban Development Ministry, has been extended till March 31, 2025. Now, under the Smart City mission, in June 2005, 100 cities were chosen through a competition to be developed as smart city. The mission envisions development areas within selected cities and countries as model areas based on an area development plan, which is expected to have a rubber which effect on the parts of the city and nearby cities and towns. More than 8,000 multi-sectoral projects are being developed by 800 cities, amounting to around rupees 1.6 lakh crore as under the Smart Cities mission. As on July 3, 100 cities have completed 7,188 projects, 90% of total projects, amounting to rupees 1,44,237 crores as a part of the mission. So, in a nutshell, this particular scheme, Smart Cities mission, was launched in the year 2015. This particular scheme is managed by the Union Urban Development Ministry. So now under this particular mission, 100 smart cities were to be developed, and these cities were selected by a by a journal voting. So people have voted and selected these 100 cities, and these 100 cities were to be developed by the government of India, government of the day. Now over 8,000 projects have been started in these particular cities and under smart cities mission. Now and the cost of total projects which are being developed under this smart cities mission is 1 rupees 1.6 lakhs 1 rupees 1.6 lakh crore. Now out of this rupees 1.6 lakh crore, rupees 1 lakh 44,237 has been already spent. So almost 90% of the projects are complete. Dates have been extended. Dates have been extended till March 31, 2025. Hopefully in next 9 months the remaining 10% of works will be completed. Now moving on to the next important news item for the day. Speaker forms committee to frame rules on oath taking members. So basically Lok Sabha Speaker Mr. Om Birla has constituted a committee. This particular committee will draft new rules for oath taking of the members, because we have seen in the last two elections that when new members when the members of parliament are elected and they went for the oath in the in the parliament, so after completing their oath, they sometimes they raise various kind of slogans, recently one slogan was raised by Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, that Jai Philistine. So to prevent these kind of incident, to prevent these kind of things, the Speaker of Lok Sabha, Mr. Om Birla, has constituted a committee. The main task of this particular committee is to frame rules on oath taking of the members. Now moving on to the next important news headline for the day. The 46th session of UNESCO World Heritage Committee, being hosted by India from July 21 to 31, will be held at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. So Bharat Mandapam has become an epicenter for many big events in India. So another event that is being hosted by Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi is that the 14th session of UNESCO World Heritage Committee, being hosted by India from July 21 to 31, will be held at Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi. The event will be attended by 2,500 delegates from state party advisory bodies, senior experts, scholars, and researchers from 195 countries. So basically, members from 195 countries are going to take are coming to India to take part in the 46th session of UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Now, this particular session will take place between July 21 to 31, and the venue of this particular event is Bharat Mandapam. Now, Bharat Mandapam in itself is very important. Why? This is this is a flagship building of this is a flagship building. This particular building has hosted G20 summit, and now this is going to host 46th session on UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Now the dates are 21 to 31 July, and the venue is Bharat Mandapam. Now moving on. Basically, these are today's editorial is average as per my opinion. So the first editorial is related to trial, medical ethics, and the orbit of power. Trial, medical ethics, and orbit of power. So basically, this first article mainly solely focused on the aspects that the very vaccine which is being tested on the various human beings, vaccines which are being tested on the various human beings. Now there are allegations that a lot of ethical codes were broken while the trials were being conducted for the COVID vaccines. A lot of ethical values have been broken. A lot of ethical values have been compromised during the during the during this trial. Now they have alleged. So basically, there is a committee. So there is not a committee. There are various NGOs which are represented by various persons have claimed or alleged irregularities and ethical violations in the conduct of the clinical trials of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin COVID-19 vaccine by the People's Hospital in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, and the resultant exploitation of trial participants belonging to vulnerable groups demanding stoppage, punishment, and compensation. So basically, this news is coming from all the way from Bhopal. सो भोपाल से ये न्यूज़ आ रही है. अब इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि भोपाल में क्या हुआ है कि भारत बायोटेक एक जो इंडिया में वैक्सीन कौन सी बना दी थी, कोवैक्सीन. भारत बायोटेक इन कोलैबोरेशन विद आईसीएमआर has made this vaccine Covaxin. It is a COVID-19 vaccine. It was for the treatment of COVID-19. The COVID-19. Now, what happened is that there was some ethical code which is being broken by the hospital in Bhopal. Now the problem is the lot of people are suffering a lot of side effects of the same because a lot of codes were broken to run these particular tests in the People's Hospital in Bhopal. Now, the trial participants are facing many problems. Now, they need to get the compensation for the same, the punishment for the violation of these kind of rules, and because the problem is big. The problem is big, and the side effects of these things can be very huge. So we have to give them a surety that they are protected. So that's why we have to give them compensation because the rules are broken by the hospital. So the victims have to get the compensation. The letter further alleged gross violations of ethics guidelines, including violation of informed consent procedures, enrollment of vulnerable population among study participant, non-reporting of adverse events, and a lack of monitoring and follow-up study participant among others. So there were a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of ups and downs, and what are the downs that we are going to discuss? That there was lot of violation of ethical guidelines. All the ethical guidelines have been violated. The consent procedure was not, the consent procedure was not informed properly to the persons who are going to participate in the trial runs. The third thing, enrollment of vulnerable population among study participants. So basically, those persons who are vulnerable to this disease and to this disease, those persons were also included in the participant or the list of the participants for the trial run of Covaxin, which is being produced by the Bharat Biotech in collaboration with ICMR. Now, restricted use of Covaxin under a clinical trial mode, a term and process that find no mention in India's drug regulatory framework, the Drugs and Consistent Act and its accompanying drugs and cosmetics rule 2019. One of the issues that stands out in the case in the functioning of the trial sites and their respective ethics committee, Dr. Jacob Pulal, member of the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, filed a writ petition in the Supreme Court of India where the court said subject to the protection of privacy of individual subjects and to the extent of permissibility by the 2009 rules, the relevant data which is required to be published under the statutory regime and the WHO statement on clinical trials shall be made available to the public without any undue delay. So basically, this statement was given by the Supreme Court when the petition was filed in the Supreme Court. Now, Supreme Court has clearly given the order to the has clearly given the order that you have to follow the sidelines or the you have to follow the rules and you have to release all the data which is related to the clinical trials without making any undue delay so that the public in large can get access all the information so they can understand things in a smooth way. The development of potential therapeutic agents is often complicated by subjective and sometimes objective violations of ethical guidelines. The role of conscientious insiders and sometimes outsiders who have unique knowledge of such violations is the subject of a recent book. So basically, the knowledge which is possessed by some of the internal members is great because we don't understand, the common man never know how these kinds of problems are happening. So the information given by some insider becomes very important and very relevant. Now we have to understand one thing. We will skip this editorial just for a while. We have to understand one thing, that the clinical trials are very important and conducting a clinical trial is very important for launching any particular vaccine. But sometimes in a hurry we broke so many laws and ethics. Suppose for COVID-19, the COVID came in 2020 and the vaccine was ready in the year 2021. Now, if we are making a vaccine in the month of in like 9 to 10 months, then this is very much there is a very much possibility there is a possibility that particular vaccine will have so many side effects because that particular vaccine is not tested in a long run. For example, for another example, although this particular article is talking about the violations that are being done during the conducting of this particular trial, there are a lot of violations. There were a lot of broken rules, like the participants were not told about the consent procedure. Vulnerable population were included in the trial runs. So these are the things. Now, so recent case of the Covishield, where there were side effects of Covishield. AstraZeneca has given this statement in the High Court in London that there are side effects of the Covishield as well. 0.61 patients out of 10 lakh doses that is administered have the chances of getting that rare syndrome where your blood will clot. So these are the things which are related to this, but these vaccine issues. And the vaccine issue, we have three things. Now we have three important things which are related to the vaccines launched during the COVID period, and we have to give importance to all the three topics. And what are these three topics? First topic is basically issues of Covishield. Second is the issue of patent between ICMR and Bharat Biotech. Bharat Biotech is the manufacturer of Covaxin in India. And the third topic is ethical violations of rules during trial run of Covaxin at People's Hospital in Bhopal. So these are the three issues which are related to the Covaxin, which are related to Covaxin Covishield. Now, moving on to the next important article. Humility in public discourse. So we'll skip. We have to like the Hungarian loan in London. Not important now. Selections in the France is going on. This is also like when the results will be announced, we will discuss this particularly in detail now. NATO, no, NATO, but NATO becomes very important. The relevance of NATO is so much, is very huge. So we will cover this particular news item in very detail, and we will start. So basically, what? So years, 75 years have been completed. NATO was established on NATO was established on 4th April 1949. So 75-year period have passed. NATO was created by 12 member states. NATO was created by the 12 member states, and the main objective was basically to prevent the expansion of USSR. Now, the main objective why NATO was created, that the NATO was created to prevent the expansion of USSR, that is Soviet Russia. Now, NATO in at present NATO has 32 members. Sweden became 32nd nation to join NATO in 2024. In 2024, Finland was the 31st country to join NATO. Now, why Finland becomes important? Why the year of Finland joining NATO becomes very important? The only reason why this particular date becomes very important, that Sweden, sorry, Finland shares a border of 830 miles with Russia. Now, who is the Secretary General, or the Jens Stoltenberg is the Director General of NATO. Is the Director General of NATO now. It was established in the year 4th April 1949. Headquarter Brussels, Belgium. Members 32. Director General Jens Stoltenberg. Last nation to join NATO, Sweden. 32nd, 31 is Finland. Now, why NATO was created? Now, NATO was created on the sidelines of Article 51 of the UN Charter. Now, so these are the this was the factual information related to NATO. Now moving on to the next important news item for the day. Moving on to the next important news item for the day. Moving on. Next important news item for the day. So we are coming on to the business section. There is nothing important in the business section today. There's only one assumption. CRISL projects that the higher revenue growth of 8 to 10% for India's top 18 states in 2024-25 from a 7.5% growth rate last fiscal. So state GST is likely to get 13 to 14% of GST compensation this year. So this is one important news item. Now moving on to the next important news item. Japan issues first new bills in 2 decades designed against fakes. So basically, Japan has released two new notes, uh, two new notes because of the lot of problems related to the counterfeiting. Now, Japan issued its first new banknotes in 2 decades on Wednesday. Yen packed with the first feature is 3D hologram technology to fight counterfeiting. Fumio Kishida, the Prime Minister of Japan, praised as historic the state of the art enter counterfeit rates of the new 10,000, 5,000, and 1,000 yen bills. 5,000, 10,000, and 1,000 yen bill. So this is one important news item that is coming from the Japan, that the Japan has introduced two uh, they have introduced new bills. So basically उन्होंने नए bills को नए notes को introduce किया है after 2 decades. 20 साल के बाद almost after a gap of 2 decades, Japan has introduced first new bills, and these particular bills were designed to fight against the fakes. Now, so basically, this is related to the elections in the United Kingdom. Rishi Sunak is participating on behalf of Labour Party, and this is expected. This is predicted that Rishi Sunak will able to secure his position again. Now, this is again mere expectation. We can say this is kind of exit poll that this is a no. I'm really sorry for that. This is something like we cannot rely on the exit poll exactly because of the recent result which will be declared after on 4th of June. So basically, there are clear indications or there are clear assumptions initially that Rishi Sunak will able to secure his position again. Now moving on to the next important news item for the day. Israel has approved the largest seizure of land in the occupied West Bank in over the 3 decades, an anti-settlement watchdog group said on Wednesday. So basically, Israel has occupied a large chunk of West Bank, and this is a kind of serious issue. So, yeah, this is it that Israel has claimed or Israel has occupied forcefully a large chunk of land from West Bank. Now we are coming back to the sports section. Now this is one important news item. Breton Mark Cavendish claimed a record-breaking 35th victory on the Tour de France when he prevailed in the fifth stage. A 177-kilometer ride from Saint-Jean-de-Maurienne, the 39-year-old had shared the record of 30 Eddie Flex written over the old yellow jersey. So basically, he has broken the record. He has won 35th. This was his 35th stage win. Now moving on. So basically, the winning team of World Cup 2024, ICC World Cup 2024, has returned back to India. They were in the Barbados for last 2-3 days because of the serious weather conditions in there. So BCCI has organized a special flight AIC 2WC Air India Champions 24 World Cup. They have organized an emergency flight, so the players are coming back to India again. They will reach Delhi today morning, and they will meet Prime Minister. Then they will go to Delhi, and they will go to Mumbai. And in Mumbai, um, there is a there is a victory parade. There is a victory parade that is being organized in Mumbai. So that will start from Nariman Point to Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. So the players will be going to Mumbai after Delhi, after meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So now moving on to the next important news item for the day. So there is nothing much more important in today's newspaper. Yeah, one important news is that the Hardik Pandya became number one all-rounder in T20s. Hardik Pandya has become number one all-rounder in
all-rounder in T20Is. Now moving on to the next important news item. So there is nothing more important in today's newspaper. So yeah, with this I will end today's video analysis. Thank you so much for watching today's video analysis. You may find today's video analysis a bit rough, but yeah. Again, because of some issues in my throat, so don't mind it. Yeah, again, there were not a lot of important things in today's newspaper. There were few things which we have covered entirely. Like one related to NATO, and another was that is related to the clinical trials of the Covaxin. So with this, I will end today's video analysis here. Thank you so much for watching today's video analysis. If you have any doubt, then do punch in your questions. Thank you so much.